What up, what up, what up? 0 viewers. Very nice. Let's wait for at least someone, right? Before I start. Anyone awake a very early morning from India? All right, so we have our first viewer. Not the best time probably for a live stream, but here we are. 2, 4, 8, 16. All right, let's go. Hi everyone. So how's everyone doing? Enjoying holidays, spending time at home? What's up? Let me know in the chat. I have the chat in front of me, and let's talk a little bit before we start the live stream. Hi Sami, I'm here from Algeria. Hello from India. Shrimp says morning. A very good morning to you. Are you from India? Because that's like it's sort of very early morning right here, 3:51 a.m. Yeah, wide awake. Anyway, the purpose of the live stream is going to be going through these little 2 projects which I just released today, and we're going to be practicing them, right? Let's wait a little bit more for people. Vegito, I'm practicing React.js very well. Let's go ahead and do it together in the form of 2 projects. I think I'll be doing 2 projects if we get time. Probably would try to keep the stream about an hour. Hello from Nigeria, Abiomi says. Hello from India, Abiomi. Good morning, Neon. Tech. I'm from Bangladesh, living in Japan. Interesting. Hello from India. Hello, good morning. What are we gonna build today? Today, we're gonna complete these 2 projects, which I have just released an hour ago. The Accordion app project and the restaurant menu project, both with React. And obviously, I think I did not leave the link for this in the description of the video. So if you want to follow along with me, feel free to do so. I'm just gonna leave the links now, project 1 and project 2. You can find them on codedamn.com as well, but why not? And there we go. Okay, so it should be in the description, and actually I'll just leave it in the chat as well. So let's do this one first, right? So this is the first project we'll be doing, restaurant menu project with React. Rishabh, how to start coding? Like this. You just practice coding. That's how you start. You start building stuff once you have the basics covered. Obviously, I'm assuming that. I'm in Bosnia. It's like 11 p.m. All right. Oh my God, your Indians are so hardworking people. I'm amazed. I will try to implement your habits. It's not really hardworking. It's more of a bad sleeping schedule, I would say. But yeah, here we are. So anyway, shall we start? Hello from Syria. Hi, Syrian Eagle. Hope you're doing good. Let's go. All right, so this is our project, and okay, I'm gonna have to start from fresh every time because I already did a test run while I was testing the apps, the whole flow. But this is our project, and the aim for this project is to create a little menu, right, which is interactive, where you can change categories, where you can just find items as well as we go along. So let's just go ahead and start with this one. So if you go ahead and read the instructions, you're gonna see that this lab is basically, nothing much you have to do. Just click on the run test buttons and it should pass. Hello from Netherlands. Hello everyone. Isn't it cold out there? Yes, it is, like, chilly, but not like very cold, so it's fine. Can a noob watch this? Yes, you can watch this. You might learn a thing or two about React, assuming you have interest in React. You're alive, Sahil. Okay, good to know that. So let's go to the next lab and let's see the first steps which we have to build. And looks like I'm on the wrong account. Let's see. Maybe I want to log in with my lead account instead of the regular one. All right, go back to projects. Nope, restaurant menu, and let's start this one. The first lab, just like I discussed, you have to only click on run test, and the actual thing, the actual meat of the stuff starts from the next lab. Okay, so I don't know how many of you have seen this interface even, let alone the challenge. How many people in the chat are familiar with the codedamn interface for practicing stuff? I think not much, not many, right? Let me know if you are not familiar with this, because this is like something I've been working for a very long time, and this allows you to build and practice and work with projects very nicely. So anyway, getting the basic UI ready. Welcome to the second lab. In this lab, we have to create a very basic UI. So it just says that this file, which we have app.jsx out of so many files here, the file should contain a structure like this, right? So, and the challenge is, if we see, the main tag should exist, this should exist. Basically, we have to create a copy of this, right? So let's just go ahead and do that really quick. I'm gonna go ahead and create a main tag, right? And if we just go ahead and try to run this, because you know, first challenge is technically only about that main tag should exist. So let's hope that it passes, and yep, it does. So we have created the main tag, so that works fine. Then we have to create the section.menu. So let's just do that real quick. Section, class name, menu section, and I'm just literally just copying from the left, right, left, right. You get it? Anyway, then we have the title with us, and finally we'll have our menu. Right, so once we have that, you can see on the right, we start to see a little bit of picture getting formed of the application, right? And let's continue building. So we have the section menus, so this should also pass, but I'll just try to make all of them pass at a single go. Why not? Div.title, we have done this one as well, and the heading tag should be our menu, right? And we also need these categories and menu, so let's just go ahead and throw them as well. Categories, because you know, we are actually importing them already at the top, and menu. So if we take a look inside these components, categories, it's not much, right? It's just a simple h2 tag, and similarly for menu, we have just a simple h2 tag. Not much happening, but that's all the challenge needs, right? So let's just go ahead and run test and see if this passes. Sahil is familiar, that's good to know. Are you settled in India because you have a fluent accent? Yep, I am from New Delhi. Which city are you from? I'm from New Delhi, Sahil and Tanveer. Not yet used it. How is it in comparison to VS Code? Vegeto is not really like a replacement for VS Code at all. It's more like just an interface for practicing projects, right? Live hands-on practice, instead of, you know, just watching a video and then probably just trying to follow the instructor. And in this interface, you have to hands-on practice the project. You have to really build it from the scratch. So that's like a one major advantage over just practicing on your own. Let's go to the next lab. Passing data to menu. All right. So this is where the things might get a little interesting, because now we will actually start seeing data. Jaskirat. Hey, how are you? I'm very good. How are you, Jaskirat, this fine morning? I am assuming you just woke up on 4 a.m, not PM. So yeah, you're an early bird, I'm assuming. That's good. All right, let's just go ahead and take a look at what we have to do. So we have to take a look inside data.js file. So let's just go ahead and see what this data.js file is. And you can see it's pretty much some raw JSON data of the thing. So if I just go ahead and try to open this in a new tab, all right, looks like a shake. And it is a shake because the category says shake. Let's just go ahead and take a look at this one, what this is. And it's a burger, so that's nice. But anyway, the point is that this data right here is actually, this data right here is, let's see, it's a JSON file containing the data for your page. In this lab, let us go ahead and first of all pass our data to menu, and then we have to just create that particular UI for it as well, right? So let's see, what's the difference between static side versus client side versus server side render? I'm so confused. Well, the differences between these things, I would say it would be much better if you just, do a quick Google search instead of me just hijacking the stream. But what you can think about is like client side just means that executing the whole JS bundle on the client itself, right? Static side means that, well, client side could be technically static side. Static side usually means that there is no backend involved, right? And server side rendering means that your server actually creates a page which technically might need JavaScript and then sends it, right? So this is like the basic difference. All right, so let's take a look at what we have. Inside menu.jsx, make sure you receive a prop called items. Okay, this is a pass prop would be of the array of objects from data.js. This pass prop will be an array of objects from data.js file. Fair enough. Inside app.jsx file, pass the data imported from data.js. So we have already imported this items from data file, right? And we saw what data file is. This is our data file. So let's see. You can do it directly for now. We'll later create a state variable, so that is fine. So what do I have to do is pass this items right here, which I just imported inside our menu component. And now inside our menu component, we will just create this UI sort of thing, right? So let's just go ahead and do that. I'm going to say div class name section center. And actually it will be easier if I just go ahead and copy this, right? Instead of just typing it all over. But you see that this structure right here, you can see for each item in past item prop, that is for what we have to repeat it. So let's just go ahead and do that. Let's just make a little bit of cleaning here. So I'm gonna try to map on items.map item, right? So individual item, this stands for each single item inside this items, and what this items is this whole array of objects, right, from the data.js. So once we have that in place, let us see. Okay, yeah, we have to also enclose the article within itself, right? So there we go, that's a start, but we have to fix these things. Item.img, I guess, right? Yep. Then item.title. Similarly, we're gonna have an item of title here as well, and then item.price, and then item.info, I guess. No, description, right? And our UI looks like following, but nothing gets rendered on the screen because we are not returning from this map, right? And once we do that, we have a nice preview of a little menu, which technically should be responsive as well because the CSS includes that. So now you have created a very simple menu application which fetches the data from data.js and displays it like this. But don't worry, like this is not the end of the application because there is a lot of interactivity to be added to it now. Okay, so let's see. First of all, the first challenge was there should be 9 article menus. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's fine.
Your page should have an audio dream. Let's just check if we have that, and yes, we do. $18.99 is the price for that. Should show correct image. Looks like correct, right? Should show the correct description. The description also is correct, and the image is also having a correct alt attribute. So let's just go ahead and hit it, give it a test run, and we'll see if there's anything which is stuck. I'm awake from 11 p.m. yesterday. I usually sleep at 6. Okay, I just love your video scan. Say I'm always active towards your video. Thank you so much, Jaskirat. That means a lot. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. What are your thoughts in the new Boston digital currency? I personally feel it's a scam. Why would you feel it's a scam? I mean, clearly it's a decentralized thing, right? So I don't think that it's something which is decentralized could be scam, unless you also believe that Bitcoin is also scam. But personally, I have like gone through all his videos and, you know, just primary validator, confirmation validator. I have seen a lot of things, but I haven't really just got into the tech side of things, right? So to be honest, that is something I want to do, but I don't get a lot of time for that. But yeah, once I do that, then I will be able to, you know, just see through it more clearly. I have a little bit of idea, but the picture is still opaque for me. So that's that. But I definitely do not feel it's a scam, right? So yeah. All right, so we have done this challenge. Let's move on to the next lab. Creating categories. Okay, this will be a quick lab. In this lab, let us go ahead and create and populate our categories.jsx file. The component will be responsible, We just have to create this UI in the categories. Fair enough. So right now you can see that we still get the same component which we had from the last lab, and this categories.jsx file which we had right here. What we have to do, I guess there's nothing much in this one, is just copy and paste this right here. Right, so once you do that, you can see that we get these nice buttons right here, but they are not interactive, right? So that will be for the next lab, but that's pretty much it for this one. And I see some of you are using, right? Because I have been queued and the servers will upscale. But anyway, that should probably not take over 30-40 seconds and then should never happen again. So let's take up some questions. I think we don't have many in the chat now. So let's see if I missed anything. How to learn DSA? By practicing. I mean, use sites like for DSA, you know, there are a lot of sites, CodeChef, HackerRank. Just go ahead and start any website. LeetCode is also like one of the good options. Just start practicing stuff, right? On any particular website, pick up any website you like and just go ahead and start just doing things on that. All right, so we are at number 2 for very long. Let's go. I want to ask something. Yeah, sure, go ahead. Because it looks like we will be sitting at number 2 for some time. The new site you started, full stack. Oh, do you mean this one? This is, yeah, I could probably do a live for this as well. So this is like a plan for a full 1-year plan for becoming a full stack developer. It's pretty cool. But yeah, what's the question? Just Kirat. And it looks like we are not gonna get a container today. Yeah, about time, right? I mean, this sort of thing, you know, the upscaling part happens on DigitalOcean, and I personally do not like DigitalOcean a lot now because it's just not, you know, it does not really have a lot of features. Number one thing that is a little bit painful. That is why the codedamn's infrastructure is split into you know, AWS and DigitalOcean. But I'm trying to shift to AWS completely, so I'll do that. But anyway, this challenge is thankfully done now. I want to ask something. The new site you started, Full Stack, is it free? As due to some loose financial conditions, I've never had the courage to buy a subscription. Jaskirat, the deck is free, right? So let me just go through this real quick. So if you're living under a rock and are subscribed to my channel as well, you would probably not know this, but I'll just mention it again. If you go to fullstack.codedamn.com, this is just a 52-week breakdown. So there are 52 slides in this deck, and every week contains the things you should learn about, you should play around with, you should mess around with, and these 52 weeks will help you become a much better full stack developer, right? Now the interesting thing about this deck is that this contains basically resources with every single week, right? So if I say you that basics of HTTP, how the internet web works, I actually tell you how to do that, how to complete that. And not only video courses, but there is also projects and exercises, pretty much just like how we are doing this project, right? Which is an exercise. So this includes videos, this includes projects and exercises. So this is like the complete deck picture. But what you are asking, Jaskirat, if this is free or not, this deck is 100% free, absolutely free. If you want to learn from somebody, some other place as well, what I would recommend is just go ahead, copy this, right click, search on Google, and look for topics like NPM tutorial, right? And go to videos if you want to just go ahead and watch a video, or maybe like read a blog or whatever you want to do, and you should be good enough. But if you go to this video courses and the hands-on practice, if this is available, these courses are, a lot of courses are free. For example, you can start this course. A lot of courses in the project are free, but some courses are also logged, right? So if you take a look at these projects and exercises, and this is also free, I guess, but some courses in the weeks would be logged, right? So that's the thing. But nonetheless, if you're a little tight on the financial side of things, I would recommend not to buy the subscription. Instead, just use Google and do a little hard work, right? So anyway, coming back to our creating categories thing. Now, once you have created the buttons of the categories, let us go ahead and see what next it is. What next do we have? Creating filter function. So in the last lab, what we did, if we can just get the interface live. So here we are. In the last lab, we had created these 3 buttons, right? Inside the categories.jsx file, just like this. But these do not work, right? So if I click on any button, they do not change the content. So let's just go ahead and do this content changing, dynamically content changing now in this particular lab. So what we have to do is there's a function passed called filter items to categories.jsx. Sure enough, on every button call, make sure to call this function. Okay. So if you go to categories, we already have this function, and you can read the instructions how you have to call it. So the way you will call this is, let's just go ahead and save a little bit of time on click and call it like this, right? So right here, I'm going to pass in all, because that is like sort of the category, then breakfast, and then shakes, right? So now whenever I click on this particular function is getting executed, and this function is right here because we are passing it down the component. Now what we have to do is that in this challenge, we have to make sure whenever I click on a button or click on a category, only the products for that category are being displayed. And if you take a look at the data.js file, what you're gonna see is that every product comes with a category, right? And that is precisely what we are passing here as well, except for all. You see breakfast and shakes is actually the name of the category. So it's a breakfast, and we also have shakes, right? So what we can do is now, once we have this category right here, we can say that, hey, I want to set the menu items, but I only want to set those items.filter item, where the item.category is, the past category, which we get. So yeah, that's pretty much it
for, you know, these two filters at least. So if I click on breakfast and go down, you see we only have 3 items now. And if I click on shakes, we only have, again, 3 items now, which are just shakes. So breakfast shakes work fine, but you're gonna see we do not get anything on all. Now the reason for that is that you see that all is not a category at all here, right? So how do you do that? Well, you will have to specially parse the case for all and just say if category is in fact all, then what I want to say is just set menu items, and just go ahead and set all the items, right, in this case, and just leave the function. Or maybe you can throw in an else here, but it depends on you, right? So let's take a look at the challenges. Initially, all products should be visible. Let's just give it a refresh. And yep, all products are visible. On clicking breakfast, only breakfast ones are visible. On clicking shakes, only shakes ones are visible. So all shakes, breakfast, it works fine, right? So let's just go ahead and give it a run. And let's get to the chat a little bit. Tanveer says the reason is I haven't seen him talk about price discovery. Okay, so I'm trying to connect the dots. It's about the new Boston, right? The reason is that I haven't seen him talk about price discovery. That's one major mechanism used in Bitcoins, and he claims he figured an algorithm that is faster than Bitcoins. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm no crypto expert either on the technical side of things. The only sort of, you know, the overview of things which I realize how crypto works is that it's just a crypto coins works is that it's just a cryptographically secure linked list, right? So you have a block which is just signed with the help of other previous blocks of information. So I don't know. I mean, I used to think that Bitcoin might be slow because of design reasons, like, you know, how password hashes are slow, because you don't really want attackers to just crack passwords very fast. So I thought that might be the reason, but of course that does not look like the reason. So let's see what happens. But there are people specialized in Bitcoins, economics expert, who spend their life on this. I'm pretty sure on that. So for him to come out suddenly out of nowhere and say he figured out doesn't make sense. You might be right, but you know, there's always that engineering part where you can create a distinguished product if you know what you're doing, right? And I'm pretty sure the guy knows what he's doing. So let's wait and not be like, you know, not be ahead of ourselves. Let's give it some time, because I think he also has a timeline sort of thing on when we have to announce, when they have to just integrate it with small businesses, small people as well. So let's wait for that and let's see how things turn out. Hello sir, I'm a fresher and I have my GD. I'm assuming that's group discussion tomorrow, and I am really worried about it because I haven't given any before. Can you please suggest me some tips? I'm very introvert. So okay, so Pankaj has a group discussion today. So what do you guys think about? Like, what tips should you give? What tips will you give to Pankaj? I want to have tips from the audience today, of the very small amount of users which are live right now, which are watching the stream. The guy has a GD tomorrow. He feels like he's a little bit introvert, has never given one. What will be your move for Pankaj? Let's go. I'm gonna check the chat in the next challenge. So let's just go ahead and go to the next lab. And now we are on the making categories dynamic. So right now you can see that it sort of works fine, but what happens is that your categories are not dynamic, and I'll get to that. What is that? So you see we have 3 categories: breakfast, shakes, and all. So although we have 3 categories, but if you take a look at the actual file, that is the data.js file, you're gonna see that we have breakfast, we have lunch as well, we have shakes as well, and we might add a different category as well later on, right? So you want to make sure that this sort of thing is also dynamically created, because there is a lot of chance of you making an error here, right, in this particular thing. So you can see we already get categories from the app component, but this categories is an empty array. So what I want to do first of all is I'm gonna add this. Actually, let me know if you understand what I'm trying to do now, or maybe like, you know, let's not do this way and break it from the very starting. So I'm going to say const unique elements is new set items.map item.category, right? Or maybe like we can just have another breakdown, all elements or like all categories is this. We get all the individual categories, that is, you know, a huge 9 list array of breakfast, lunch, shakes, breakfast, lunch, and so on. Then we try to filter them down by sending them in a set, that is more of a ES6 way. And then finally, we try to go ahead and destruct this so that we get an array back, because that's what we need, right? Looks like we do not have any output here. So let's just go ahead and give it a refresh. And finally, we are passing the categories automatically, but inside the categories component, we are not using it. So let's just go ahead and make use of this categories.map category. And now all I want to do is just return a single button because we have like sort of mapped it. So return this button, but instead of, you know, getting all like this, I want the category to appear here. And I also want to pass the category like this. But you see what happened here is because our category never really contained all, we lost the all button, right? So what you can do instead of just hacking your way around with the data source is probably include all manually, right? So it's not like a bad approach or anything, because, you know, it just works fine and it makes sense as well, right? So you have all breakfast, lunch, shakes, breakfast, lunch, shakes, everything works fine. Lunch is also working fine, you know, the new category, and all gives you basically everything. So if you go ahead and try to run test for this one, let us see if we can make this happen. And yep, we did. And that's pretty much it. So if you go ahead and try to play around with this a little, you can see you have created your own sort of little menu application. And plus this is responsive thanks to CSS. So if you go ahead and open this in a new tab, you can also see it works just fine, right? Just like you would expect it to. You can also go ahead and add new sources here. You know, just go ahead and add a inside data.js, you can go ahead and add some new sources, and that will just reflect nicely over here. So yeah, that's pretty much it for a little bit a simple project. Hope you liked it, and I think nobody gave Pankaj any tips. So about your GD, oh, so we have a tip. Go over your words beforehand a few times, make your presentation into a story. That will make sense, and imagine you're talking to your friend. Yeah, that's a good tip. That's a good tip. I would also, just to add on that, I would just also say that, you know, it'll just be a 30-second or maybe like 20-second fear before you start something, right? That always happens, not only in GD. If you're making some decision, or, you know, if you're doing something which you're scared of, like, you know, I don't know, I can't remember anything on the top of my mind, like that, just jumping from a plane or something, you know, just gliding, something like that. So you only have that window of 10-20 seconds of fear, and once you are able to cross that, once you're able to convert that fear into excitement, that's it, that's the game over. Just have confidence, just be cool. That's all. I mean, you just have to pass that 10-second window and you'll be good. Hello from Israel. Have a great day. Thank you so much, Daniel. You too. Have a great week and have a great year, 2021. Let's hope. Need more Next.js for SEO. Okay. I mean, that's not wrong. If you use more of Next.js, you're going to have better SEO. But if that was like a demand for a course, that's another thing. But anyway, So here we are, and we have done this course, done this lab, so we can go ahead and claim our classroom certification. And I'm going to claim this, and I have a certificate, nice certificate. And what the hell is this? It's probably broken. It should be in center. Damn. Catching bugs on production, but while you're live on YouTube. So that's a starter. And yeah, this is the reason for this is probably because I shifted the website on Tailwind CSS a couple of days back, and headings and a little bit of CSS here and there got broken because I got rid of all the global styles. So that is the reason you might see some things which are broken here and there. So yeah, that's one thing I would fix whenever I see something like this. But yeah, this is something I'll definitely fix. The codedamn code editor, is it built on Monaco? Looks pretty sleek. I have a similar project to work on. I can decide between creating a code editor from scratch or using a library like Monaco. Yep, this is built on top of Monaco. I think I closed the project, but yeah, that is built on top of Monaco. But Monaco is like a very raw, bare bones editor, right? No tab support, no file system support. So everything else is built, on the supplementary side of Monaco, that it supplements it. I would probably not recommend to go ahead and create your own text editor because you will probably not have a lot of features in it. But yeah, I mean, if you have time on your hand and if you want to play with tech, that is a very cool project, right? Creating your own text editor, because you're going to learn a lot of things when you're doing that. Syntax highlighting, context menus, various JavaScript APIs, even autocomplete if you get into that thing. But that's a different story. But yeah, personally, I would say if you're a little tight on time and you have no intention of learning weird stuff about how code editors work, then go ahead and use a library like Monaco. Monaco is there. There's also Ace editor. I'm not sure if you have heard of it. Ace is also a good editor. Then there is CodeMirror. CodeMirror is an editor, right? Yeah, it is an editor. CodeMirror is there. So there's that. Zero demands of what, Jack? You cannot just end your sentence there. You have to. Oh, you have a previous message. Need more Next.js for SEO. Zero demands. Still doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, we have our first member of the channel, Clark. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. I actually forgot that we had a members feature. So I don't have a lot of I think I do not have a lot of emojis or anything added for members. I think you guys are not able to see the chat, right? That's funny. Let me just go ahead and pop out the chat and let's see if I can make this merged, right? Because that will be pretty cool. So there we go. Thank you so much, Clark, for joining. Really appreciate it. Still wasn't able to find good CMS for non-tech clients that not cost money, and can I host myself? Yeah, I mean, Next.js is a beast, to be honest. This codedamn website, this whole interface and everything is hosted on Vercel, powered by Next.js. So that's pretty cool. Thanks for the React query suggestion. It's quite interesting on how it tries to replace server-side response in Redux context. I strongly recommend you do a video. Yeah, I mean, it's a long time pending, to be honest. I wanted to do it for a very long time. I want to do it for a very long time. You might see I won't say a lot of content, but you might see a lot of good packed quality quality wise content before the year ends. So I'm planning on a Next.js video. I'm planning also on a React query. React query might shoot after next year, might get just short after next year, but after next year means in the next year, not after next year. But yeah, definitely on my list. Not fair, Clark has a cool logo. Well, he's a member, he's a dammer, right? So that's a perk you get. Your thoughts on server-side components? Well, I did a video on that. You can check it out if you have not seen it. But I think it's a pretty, I'm assuming that you're talking about React Server components, right? I'm assuming that. So I think it's a pretty neat piece of technology. And, you know, people have been saying we are going back to square one with what PHP was. And I sort of agree, but I don't know. I just feel like, you know, we are coming back to that technology after learning a lot of new things, after learning a lot of new paradigms, and this will just help frameworks like Next.js even more, right? Because, you know, Next.js already has server-side rendering, and that's pretty much, you know, that's a lot anyway out of the box. Plus, if you combine it with server-side components, React Server components, that makes things like those really powerful. So personally, I would not really use React Server components standalone because you need a node server anyway, right? And once you need a node server, why not just go ahead and throw a Next.js thing behind that? So it does not make a lot of sense to use React Server components on its own. That's my viewpoint. But if you combine it with technologies like Next.js or anything, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah. Not even the cost of a coffee a month. More people should buy this channel a coffee or for a great content. Really appreciate it, Clark. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, really appreciate it. That's all I can say. I think I can give you some emojis, but I will probably do that after live stream. Yeah, I think you can use these two emojis, right? These are not anyone else can use this. Only Clark and me can use this. Clark and me can use this emoji, you know. Next.js will be better, still better for SEO as well. Yep. Server-side components, React Server components do not solve SEO because, you know, the server never responds with the metadata on the initial request, right? React Server components is more like I will go ahead and I will render that component on the server and will send you the response back in a stream. But that happens after the initial page load, and the SEO, the meta tags and description and all that stuff depends on the first page load, right? And React Server components does not solve it. Next.js solves it, right? So that's like absolutely clear. I mean, some people are saying that, you know, the speed of your site will be increased and that will result in a better SEO, but that's not a lot of weight on the SEO side, right? Today lost hours of time trying to figure out how to take one token. Not really sure what that means. From the browser in Next.js render website. What do you mean by a token? If I have to complain about Next.js, is its proprietary API like freeloading? I think they can come with use effect to load on the server side. Okay, I'm confused with that. First of all, Next.js does not has a proprietary API. In fact, the thing is open source, probably with MIT license. Hopefully. Oops. Let's see. It should be open MIT license, right? Yeah, it is MIT. So yeah, I mean, you can just fork this and just create your own Next.js as well and use it for commercial use, or, you know, do anything you want. So that's there is no proprietary API, I would say. I would say that API which you're talking about, probably like image compression, or, you know, the new image component which does image compression under the hood, that is sort of not open source, I think. But yeah, rest of the thing is open source. I think they can come with a use effect to load the server side. Use effect does not run on server, so cannot do that from the browser in the Next.js render website. I mean the free prefetch API. What is the prefetch API? I don't understand. All right, anyway, what is happening? We are 44 minutes in. Let's try to wrap up another really quick project. This is a create an accordion with React. So let's just go ahead and do that as well. So in this one, again, starts with a very simple sort of thing. We just have to take a look at the code and just, press on the run test button. So you can technically wait for the preview, but why not? Let's just go ahead and start this. So creating UI for the first question, right? So we are a little less on the space. Let's see if we can do something. No, it won't compress more than that. Anyway, let's just go ahead and live with this. So inside our app.jsx file, we want to create the following UI. So let's go ahead and do that really quick. Not 9. Oops. Main, open and main close. Then we have div class name container. And what we can do is probably just go ahead and open this in a new tab and shut this down for a better code visibility, right? Yeah, that makes sense. H3 FAQ. And yep, that's pretty much it. We can just copy this one, right? And if you take a look, we have pretty much done every single challenge here, right? So that should go ahead and pass it. And you can also see our application, how it looks like. Okay. All right. In the create a single question component. In this lab, let us create a single question component, edit the file question.jsx, make sure of the following things. The component should receive a prop called title. The prop should be displayed inside h2. Okay, so in the question, we gotta receive a prop called title and it should be displayed inside h2, right? Simple enough. And then we have to pass, we already have the data, right? Inside section class name info, map over this data and use the question.jsx. So we want to do data.map item. And then what we want to do is return the question, single question, title item dot title. Hopefully that is the correct representation. Otherwise we'll run in a little bit of errors. Item dot title, it is. Yup. So if you go to instructions, if you refresh this, oops, we are on the wrong page now, right? Because the URL changes. So anyway, we can see that this looks fine, this works fine. So we have the titles. So looks like we did all of them. So let's just go ahead and see. I mean, the prefetch API, okay, we have seen this. I know this is very biased, but I wouldn't mind if React only allows TypeScript in the future. I mean, technically, I would want everything to be only TypeScript, to be honest, because once you see the power of TypeScript and you know how convenient it makes to write JavaScript while maintaining the flexibility of JavaScript as well, there's no sort of going back, because you know you cannot really create large code bases, or you cannot really maintain them if they're not written in a typed system or in a typed way. JavaScript is just way too forgiving for that. You know, the codedamn's infrastructure is 100% powered by Node.js. Whenever I try to use any programming language, wherever I'm using it, it is using Node.js, right? But everything is written in a very strict TypeScript environment with all strict options on. There is no compromise on that. So that really saves a lot of headache for me as well. And yeah, I have learned that TypeScript is the way to go about, right? So yeah, that JSX preview is awesome. That's more like a browser preview, right? It'll just basically work with any website, you know, any project which involves a web dev sort of setup. Okay, let's see, we have a couple of more labs to go. Adding answers to questions. In this lab, let us add answers to the single question component. So we already have the title with us. The UI for the single question should look like this. So let's just go ahead and copy this and paste this. So now we have the title, we have the plus button, and we have the info, but we are not getting the info. And the reason we are not getting the info is because we do not pass the info. Question.info, right? So here we have it, but the plus button obviously does not work. It's just there. But yeah, looks nice, right? We have sort of created the application, but it's not interactive yet. So let's see if we have to do anything else. All the question titles should be present. All the question information should be present. And yep, our data.map takes care of that. So it should not be an issue. Let's go ahead and run it. And yep, there we go. On to the final lab of this little project, expanding and collapsing answers. So in this lab, we finally add the interactivity after building the whole UI sort of thing. And the way we do that would be, if I click on the plus button, the info should be available. If I click on minus, the info should be unavailable, right? And that's basically the challenges are also what about. So first of all, let's just go ahead and create a state variable to maintain the state. So visible, set visible, use state false, right? Because by default, we want them to be invisible. So what I want to do is that, hey, if you are visible, then give me a negative sign to collapse it, otherwise a positive to expand it, right? So that's fine. But I also want to do if and only if you're visible, then only display this p tag of info, right? Because otherwise there's no point. And the final thing which is remaining is that when I click on this little icon, the magic should happen. And what's the magic? The magic is to toggle the state. And the way we do that is just on click, I want to say set visible. Now you can go ahead and do something like this, but I like to always have a consistent approach, because you know, one thing you should remember while you're doing stuff in React, especially remember, is that if you are modifying, you know, if your next state depends on your previous state, you should always pass a functional update thing, right? Because you want your state to be derived, your older state to be derived just before the render which has happened. Otherwise you might run into race conditions and edge cases where the value is probably not what you're thinking. So as a rule of thumb, if your next state depends on the previous state, use a functional updating strategy instead of just going ahead and using a regular value passing. So anyway, once we have done that, you can see it works and it looks fine. And yep, can confirm it works fine. So that should be it, right? Let's see if we are missing anything. Yep, that's it. So again, I can just go ahead and claim my certificate. The signature is again messed up, but anyway, there we go. So I completed a lab which I just set. That's funny, but yeah, that's it. So pro tip on React is to always turn why did you render. React doesn't tell you. They really should include this in dev mode by default. I think I have actually tried this myself as well. Why did you render? But it uses a very patchy approach, right? I mean, it's a good thing, but it's a good software for debugging and everything. But to be fair, I don't really need it to be just bothering me with the console logs all the time, right? So, I mean, it's a good enough standalone package. I won't really want this to be bundled with React, because React, I guess, is already about 37 kilobytes gzipped. But yeah, just like you said, only for the dev mode. So that's fine. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the couple of projects. We are also like almost, you know, 1 hour in. And yeah, I mean, enjoyed a lot today for the live stream, having a chat of little small people, because you know, most of the audience of India of mine is sleeping, and you know, the holiday season, nobody's really interested into coding, but here we are. So anyway, that's pretty much it for the live stream. I'll just take up some questions if we get anything. Bro, have you woken up or not slept yet? I have not slept yet, bro. I go to bed about 6 in the morning. भाई गोवा जाने का क्या सीन है सामान लेने का? भाई सीन तो पता नहीं अभी तो बैंगलोर का भी सीन है. Anybody from Bangalore here? Not really. But yeah, अभी नहीं पता. देखते हैं, let's see. Non-bits at queries. Awesome stuff. Happy holidays. Thank you so much, Clark. Thank you so much for being the first member. Really appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, obviously you can just reach out to me anytime if there's anything I can help you with. mehul@codedamn.com or mehulmpt@gmail.com. Leave a comment. I basically just try to read and reply to every single person. So there's that. So yep, that's it. Let's close down the stream. Let's wind it down. That is all for today, and I'll see you next time.